The dreams in my head are more than you know now. The dreams in my head are worth more than gold now. The dreams in my head. Been in this city, I've been in your city. I've been in this city so long that it stinks of me. Oh Lordy, it stinks of me. Lately, I've been in this city, I've been in your city. I've seen the light on the hickory porch, but nobody's home. So won't you do yourself a favor and be there when I come to call, so we can get together all night long, all night long. I've been everywhere, but you're never there. I've been everywhere, but you're never there. You're never there. The dreams in my head are more than you know now. The dreams in my head are worth more than gold now.
E.T., how are you?
Good. Eddie's
Tim, Eddie, good to meet you.
Oh, wow.
It's all made right here, and you get to geek out a little bit. Menus over here. If you want them. Our flagship Chardonnay, the HTV Chardonnay. It's
Okay.
small wineries are where it's at. Just get more hands-on. And some potential for developing new skill sets. So the blocks that we have been taking our Chardonnay from for our flagship Chardonnay are primarily these two blocks. So you put a face to the name. HDB. So Larry Hyde is the H in HDB, and Larry Hyde is the owner of Hyde Vineyards. Larry Hyde's cousin, Pamela Fairbanks, married the DV, and she's essentially the catalyst for bringing the families together. So we have Aubert de Villaine, essentially is now Larry's cousin through the marriage that took place here. That all happened back, these guys got married in, I think, in 71, but Larry Hyde hadn't planted what was to be a vineyard until 79. So he had some time that he developed, relationship with his cousin, really well known for wine, and making a particular wine, but not on U.S. soil. Aubert de Villaine, as it sounds very French, and he's responsible for this. Aubert de Villaine, another picture of him here, he's the co-owner and co-director of Domaine de la Romanée Conti in Burgundy, and it's a 4.6-ish acre vineyard in Burgundy, and it makes about 500 cases of wine a year.
Wow.
And documented has been growing grapes for wine for almost a millennia, which is about how old this cross and this wall is right here. And for that long, for almost a millennia, it's been making some beautiful wines. It's still plowed by
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's
cool.
farmed by Dynamic, no machines or anything on the property. All those cool.
That's right.
Yeah. It's arguably the most famous Pinot Noir in the world. Goes for about $4,600 a bottle upon release, and that's if you're on the list to receive it. So if you buy a second hand, then it's twice that. It's insane. Yeah. HDV, I would say all of our fruit comes from Hyde Vineyard. Larry Hyde supplies us with some of the most beautiful fruit in California. California Chardonnay, and Larry Hyde Vineyard, he sells to 30 plus different wine producers.
Mm-hmm.
They make wines that range in style depending upon when each producer wants to pick the wine and how much oak they want to use, how long they want to age it. So you taste very, very different styles from each producer, but ultimately it's some of the best producers of Chardonnay in California that buy fruit from Hyde Vineyard, because that vineyard is pretty special. Very interesting soil composition, very thin soils, 3 to 5 feet deep, versus soils out here, we're in Oak Knoll, we're in the valley floor. Millions of years of erosion here of all this soil eroding and sort of forming this valley floor. It's all volcanic ash basically, and it's 40 to 70 feet deep. So we're talking the root systems here for these vines, they never mature enough and grow long enough
To get
down to any subsoils. So the fact that you get 3 to 5 feet deep before these root systems are touching different soils on high vineyard, you get a completely different dynamic altogether. You get different flavors. You get a little more what the earth has to say versus here. This is Syrah out here. It makes beautiful Syrah.
Yeah.
But it's just really, it's warmer here on the valley floor. It's 8 degrees roughly on average, cooler over there. So you retain acidity over there, and you retain sort of the savory quality of some of the different varieties planted there. Where here you're just getting fruit, lots of ripe, beautiful fruit. So to me, I say this is novice, and that's like a little more of the serious one.
Yeah.
People that say $60 for a Chardonnay, sweet deal.
So, working hard.
Get the Chardonnay out of there.
Symphony's best usually. Yeah, we usually put a little bit.
Oh, Belle Cuisine, beautiful cousin, Francais. 2009 vintage, and it's 52 Merlot, 48 Cabernet. This is the most cab that we've ever used in this wine to date. In most years, this wine is heavily Merlot driven, with just a little bit of cab, sort of adding some backbone and some structure to the wine, a little complexity. But this is one of those years where we used a little more cab because we could, because the cab was in '09. It was a good year for our Cabernet. We were able to get it, ripe and balanced, and it was expressive. It had a lot to offer the wine. So essentially, what we did is just, how we came up with the blend is the same way we do it every year. We sit down in that room, and Stefan, who you just met, will create. Let's just say for the sake of simplicity, 4 blends, because on average it's roughly maybe 4 different potential blends, all of them being different portions of Merlot and Cabernet. There are things you can do to make a more quality wine, and there's things that if you don't really care too much about making quality, if the dollar really is the bottom line, then you're gonna want to crop as heavily as possible. So Syrah in this case is a heavy producer. It yields like anywhere between, I'd say, on the valley floor, I'd say anywhere between 6 to maybe even up to 10. Now, even on Hyde Vineyard, it would yield probably up around 4 or 5 tons an acre. We're going to crop that back to about 3 tons an acre. So we're sacrificing a lot of fruit to make a more quality wine. So we have essentially more flavor, more concentration coming out of the fruit coming from those vines that have been sort of thinned a little bit. So you're cutting back on your total volume, but you're gaining power, complexity, concentration. So that's where your farming cost comes from. How much are you willing to sacrifice, per acre to make a good wine? And if the more expensive your wines are, the more difficult it is to sell them. The more juice you have, the bigger that berry is. That's like the ratio between juice and skin. Skin's where you're getting a lot of basically all your color, all your color is, right? And a lot of your flavor and certainly your structure, your tannins in the case of the red wine. If you have big juicy berries, that means the ratio is going to be really favoring the juice in a big way. Your skins, if they're having to carry the weight and influence of a big bulk of juice, a large quantity of juice, then it's just going to be spread too thin. What a lot of people do is they'll either farm way that sort of keeps the size of the berries down if they can, or they'll even do a sanier, which is literally what we'll bring our grapes in. And we did it once. We did it with one of our Pinot Noirs last year. We'll bring all of our grapes into one of these fermenters. Whether they were or not, they go into a fermenter. These are just used a few weeks out of the year, and they basically, as you were piling in grapes here, after they come out, maybe off the crusher to stemmer, because some of it was the stem. The weight of the berries are sort of pressing out a lot of the berries, so you're getting, you're starting to get some juice that sort of forms around the perimeter of, of the grapes that are kind of piling up in the center. So you have this sort of almost like a moat around the castle, more or less. And what you can do to bring even more concentration is you can take and drain some of that juice out so that the ratio between the skins and the juice is a little more so favoring skins, which is where a lot of your character and color structure is going to come from. So that's what we did. We did what's called a saignée, which is essentially to bleed. So we just bled off some of the juice to improve the quality of the wine. These are all things you can do, but they are all sacrificing. You're sacrificing some volume. You're sacrificing money. Would that wine taste fine without the saignée? Absolutely. It would probably taste delicious. But does it make a difference? Does it make it a better wine? Yeah. Definitely.
So you get in here and step on the grapes?
Pretty simple.